Good morning, Ichigo, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Bleach, episode 27 is here, and it's the conclusion of the Kaku versus Ichigo fight, and my god, the animation, just the still shots, and the black and white, the red, all the different colors, it's handled so damn well. Like, sure, this fight is kind of short. And, yeah, is it just pretty basic considering Bleach and what happens after everybody goes bonkai? Everybody gets a bonkai, you know? But before that, we had fights like this. We had fights like, Renji versus Ichigo the first time. Uryu versus Ichigo. We had, the Grand Fisher fight. We had, leading up to these type of fights, we didn't really have much of the grandiose type of battles yet. So, Egaku, this was our first introduction to a Soul Reaper, a true Soul Reaper versus another one. And we saw, the different battle tactics, let's go Shikai, let's do this, let's do that. Egaku becomes, of course, more impressive over the rest of the series, but I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, they were just kind of going at it like swordsmen. They weren't using Kido and special moves or anything like that. Like Egaku didn't really use any type of special ability of his Shikai. And as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure if at this stage he's able to go Bankai or not. Not that he really would, unless he was, that's a whole nother storyline. But either way, it was basically swordsman versus swordsman, no tricks, no gimmicks, just blow for blow, who's better, And I like to think that that's just part of it. Like, Zaraki doesn't really use special moves or anything like that, and to honor their captain, that's what they do. So seeing Egaku fight the same way Kenpachi would, just swinging your sword. And if you lose, you lose. You swing your sword. That's what you do. No Kido, no special moves, no bullshit. Just that. I just really thought it was a pretty good fight. I really enjoyed this. This is one of our first real fights we get with Ichigo in the Soul Society. I mean, you could count, I guess, Jibonan and not really Gin, I guess, So, yeah. So this is our first real fight, and Ichigo kind of struggles here. But in the end, he wins, and he saves Egaku. And after this, we get him, he patches him up, and he tells him, we're here, there's 5 of us, we're here to save Rukia, and that's all we're going to do. And Egaku thinks this is absolutely hilarious. You think you can get away with this? Are you guys crazy? Either way, he gives him the information, says the White Tower, sort of the Princess in the Tower thing, that's where she is. You got to go get her, if that's where you want. And so he keeps her he lets Egaku live, but he also states, are you the strongest in your group? He's like, yeah, probably. He's like, all right then, you got to watch out for my captain. Kenpachi Zaraki of Squad 11 is going to come after. He doesn't care about weak opponents. He's coming after you. And so that now we have the foreboding of him fighting Kenpachi. And that fight, is that ever a fight? That's a great fight. Ichigo's fights, this might be the weakest fight of the Soul Society arc that Ichigo partakes in, but all of his fights are great. Renji, Byakuya, Kenpachi, all these fights are all great fights. Ikaku's might be the shortest, might be the weakest of these fights, but that's because the other fights are just better. They're just even better. So, some foreshadowing there that Ichigo's going to have to go up against Kenpachi Zaraki himself. What else happens in this episode? We meet Hanataro, I believe, for the first time here. We see Hanataro. And contrary to popular belief, I like Hanataro. I'm kind of disappointed. I hope they do something with him with the Bleach anime coming back and stuff. It's like a lot of things that we're hoping for. We won't get everything we want. But that's one thing. I really wanted Hanataro to play a more pivotal role in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, to see how far he's come along, and maybe he has the potential to do more things. He's not such a scaredy cat anymore, or he still is, but he's learned through the Soul Society and the Arrancar arc and everything that he learned from his friends and stuff. We could have had a kind of a mini character development arc with him for a few chapters, where he just goes up against one of the Stern Ridders. He might not win, but at the very least we see him actually in action. He might just be a medic and everything, but we could see him maybe super healing, or maybe actually knowing how to fight with Keto. Maybe not. Maybe he's just not a sword player, but maybe he's kind of a long-range Keto fighter, and he's like, well, all of our medical techniques are Keto-based, so we all have to be highly proficient in Keto, and that doesn't mean just healing. That means Keto, all of it. So for all we know, Hanataro got really good with Keto, sort of idea, and he could be high level like that. That would have been really cool, so we might get something like that, because I always thought Hanataro was there to be developed, and unfortunately he never really gets that far. We meet him, he's meek, he doesn't want Rukia to get hurt, he likes her, and not romantically, of course, just likes her, and he just wants everybody to be safe. He just wants everyone to be healed. He sees somebody wounded, he's got that Hippocratic oath in him, and that's kind of a good character. So I always liked Hanataro. I'm not going to talk about the Ganju stuff. I was going to, like, Ishida and Orihime are running away from dudes and from other Soul Reapers that are trying to chase them. And Ganju and that ridiculousness, it took away from the Ikaku stuff, honestly. It's like the ridiculousness of him fighting old 5th seat there. That's just ridiculous. I want the number 3 seat. Number 4 is too ugly. 5 looks like 3, so I took the 5th. I'm still stronger than the 5th. Yeah, okay, whatever. Either way, I don't really care for any of that. Like, that's the problem with Ganju. It's not that Ganju is necessarily I don't mind the voice actor. I think his character's okay. But it's all the ridiculousness of the fight. You know what I mean? Like Ganju should not be alive yet. And it's kind of like old One Piece watching Usopp fight. I know a lot of people look back on that fondly, especially if you like Usopp, but I was very annoyed by early Usopp for the longest time. It wasn't until post time skip, and especially after Water 7 and Eni's Lobby and stuff like that, that I started to appreciate Usopp a little bit more, but I never liked Usopp from the get-go. Boy Who Cried Wolf and a liar on top of it, and never really, and his whole thing, I want to be a brave warrior of the sea, I'm just as good as the rest of the Straw Hats mentality, and he just never was in my eyes. So I kind of get that feeling with Ganju, and it's annoying watching him fight people that clearly can beat him, but he deceives them, he runs away, he does cheap tactics, it's just, I'm a little embarrassed watching that fight. So it's the same with Ganju fights. Like, I get that Usopp fight feeling from early One Piece, and I'm just like, I don't care. I know neither character is going to die. It's not going to be emotional. It's not going to be epic, so that kind of deal. That's not to say that Usopp didn't have good moments. Just let's be clear here. I know this is a Bleach review, but really quickly, Usopp did have good moments in the pre-time skip. The Luffy versus Usopp fight and stuff, and the whole Frankie House thing and stuff. Like, he had good moments, don't get me wrong, but it's just that for the most part, whenever he was in a battle or something, he either ran away or his fights were just kind of boring and annoying and just filled with bravado and rather than actual skill. That was kind of annoying. But anyways, that's basically Bleach episode 27. They fight. It was really good, though. It was really well shot. I liked all the scenes in it, and I thought it was just really well handled. Ikaku looking like a demon of the sword through a lot of it. But anyways, yeah, pretty good episode, guys. I'm going to be watching episode 28, 29, and 30, I hope to get done today. So at least we'll get those out of the way. And so thanks, guys, for watching. Looking forward to more Bleach. See you next time.